So this is how it ends. This is how the 2024 NASCAR season ends. You know, if Austin Cindric simply keeps it together for half a lap more, we're not sitting here today talking about this. Fun fact. But, you know, after Joey Logano won Las Vegas and locked his spot into the championship four, I thought, if he wins the championship, I can come on here. I can yell. I can scream about how much I hate the playoffs, this format, it's fluky, blah, blah, blah. Or I could try to get creative and think of something. So I've spent the last few weeks thinking. And the reality is here. And I'm going to make a comparison. The 2024 NASCAR season as a whole, I'm going to compare to a pop culture reference. And let me tell you, when I mention it, you'll understand what I mean. This is something you never want to be compared to, at least the ending part. The 2024 NASCAR season, I would perfectly line it up and compare it to Game of Thrones. The 2024 NASCAR season had some iconic moments. It had some historic moments. Whether it was Daniel Suarez winning in a 3-wide finish at Atlanta, the closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history at Kansas, the great finish at Homestead, the great racing we had at Homestead, another photo finish at Talladega with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., things that moved NASCAR, changed NASCAR history, controversial things, exciting things, dramatic things like Austin Dillon's Richmond win. Game of Thrones had a lot of this too. They moved the bar in terms of television. They won a ton of Emmys. They had a ton of success until they got to that last season. And NASCAR, it had a ton of success this year. We had some great racing. We had some great moments. Some of the moments I just mentioned, and I know I'm leaving a few moments out because those were just some of the top highlights, and I know there was a lot more because 2024 as a whole, a lot of the racing was good. But just like Game of Thrones, we had a very, very bad taste left in our mouths. At least that's what I think. And instead of getting to see Amelia Clark every episode, we had to see this paint scheme. Man, just what happened to the Penske scallops, man? I miss them so much. Logano's old paint schemes with those Penske scallops were so iconic. But no, we had to kill him once the next-gen car arrived, and now he's won 2 championships with this boring yellow paint scheme. I got all my yelling out last week in the race manipulation. But yeah, as I said, 2024 NASCAR season, we're going to look back at some of these moments. We're going to look back at that Atlanta finish, Kansas finish, Talladega finish, Richmond, the return of the Brickyard 400, the Bristol Spring race with the insane tire fall off. That was such a fun race. And we're going to be so happy when we relive those memories. When we look back, we're like, oh, Daniel Suarez 2024 Atlanta, that was such a fun race. And then we start thinking about other moments in 24, and then we remember how it ended. And it's just going to be like, oh, yeah. Second to last race. Blatant race manipulation by Toyota and Chevy. Bell gets kicked out because of a half wall ride. Byron gets to stay in the championship four despite the race being manipulated for him. And then Joey Logano, who finished 15th in the regular season standings and was entering this race 14th in the regular season standings if it was a season-long format, wins the championship. Well, as I said, bad taste in your mouth. Or in my mouth, at least. That's how I feel about it. But just like Game of Thrones, Season 8, bad taste in the mouth. That's the best comparison I got. Iconic television show, historic moments, gravity-defining television, iconic moments that will be remembered for centuries. NASCAR 2024 had that. And just like Game of Thrones, we end it with a sour taste in our mouth. Well, let's talk about this race itself. Joey Logano, ironically enough, I would say this was in terms of the race itself, this was a very deserved race win. He ran in the top 3, top 5 all day long, led over 100 laps in this 312 lap race. And as much hate as Logano's going to get for this championship, he drove masterfully in this race. He did everything right. They had a slow pit stop early in this race, and that's about the only flaw I can think of. His restarts, on point. The restart to get the lead, on point. When Ryan Blaney, who was clearly faster, clearly better than him, finally got to his back bumper, Logano defended masterfully. This is the fact. Look, people are going to call all three of Joey Logano's championships. They're going to call him into question, especially this one. But you cannot deny Joey Logano's overall talent. He's now a 3-time Cup Series champion. He's got over 30, might be close to 40 career wins at this point. There's a reason he wins all these races. There's a reason he's always in this position, because he's a future Hall of Famer. He's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. Joey Logano, the driver, is extremely talented. As I said, you cannot deny that. How he drove today in the race today, how he drove, masterful. He did a great job. And he's going to argue, and many others, NASCAR, other people will argue, everyone knew the format entering this race. Everyone knew the format entering this season. And yes, that is technically true. And Joey Logano, once again, that team has played the format perfectly. They know how to get it done. We know how good Team Penske is at Phoenix. And we know how good Joey Logano is as a driver. And once again, just adding to the legacy of Joey Logano, when you look at his career stats at the end, whenever his career does end, at least 3 championships. That's an exclusive list. Here's the list of guys with at least 3 championships. Joey Logano, of course. Tony Stewart, Darrell Waltrip, Cale Yarborough, David Pearson, Lee Petty, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty. There's an elite list. This is whatever is above elite, okay? So regardless of what you think of the Logano title, myself included, you can't deny Joey Logano's legacy. You cannot deny how great Joey Logano is, how he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You can question his championships all you want, but some may argue back, okay, what about 2015? What about 2016? He should have won those years too, or at least had a shot of winning those 2 years. And then you also just got to look at how many races he's won. He's got 36 career wins now. I mean, winning a NASCAR Cup race is not easy. Winning 2, not easy. Winning double digits, very not easy. 36 is insane. Joey Logano, once again, he's going to get a lot of backlash, a lot of hate for simply playing the format right. He did not do anything wrong. But because of this format, there's already a lot of negativity online. I'm sure there will continue to be. I guess I'm technically part of that, so... But Joey Logano, once again, you cannot define or deny the legacy that he has built. You cannot deny the talent, the Hall of Famer that he will be. And Roger Penske is an owner, another championship. Roger Penske, prior to 2022, only had 2 championships in NASCAR. Well, guess what? He's popped off 3 straight now. Logano in 22, Blaney in 23, Logano again in 24. A 3-peat for Team Penske. Even if Logano gets disqualified, Blaney finished second, so unless it was a Penske thing, I mean, there you go. But Joey Logano wins the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. The other championship drivers, Ryan Blaney, had arguably the best car all day. He only led 12 laps in this race, but he was back in traffic at times and just didn't get as great restarts as Logano and had to chase him down late in runs. And also Christopher Bell, ironically enough, dominated the middle third of this race, and Blaney was in second place within a second of him, just couldn't quite get by. So Blaney, once again, had arguably the best car, and it showed on that last run. He cut a 3.5 second gap on Logano, and he finished only a couple tenths off of him, and he was on his back bumper. He was within half a second with about 12 laps to go, which once again goes to talk about how good Joey Logano is at playing defense. Earlier in Joey Logano's career, he was known for being the aggressor, for making the aggressive moves, spinning someone out, wrecking someone. But now he's matured as a driver. He knows he has such a versatile skill set. He has such a wide range of tools that he can use. He can play offense. He can play defense. So Ryan Blaney, he was the first-hand witness of that, watching his teammate defend. Also Phoenix, just a very difficult track to pass. We got only one more championship race here, I hope. But Ryan Blaney, the title defense came oh so close. Jimmy Johnson continues to be the most recent back-to-back champion. William Byron finishes third in the standings. He was very similar to Austin Hill yesterday. He was just in this awkward middle ground where he was nowhere near the top two, but he was better than fourth by a good bit. So he had nothing for the Penskes. Even when he got out in front, they got a lucky caution, and they were out front. They had the lead. He had two teammates next to him, but Logano, with such a great restart, was able to pass him within a couple laps, and he was able to gap Byron. I mean, just once again, no one had anything for the Penske cars today. No one. And then Tyler Reddick finishes sixth in the race, and 23-11. It's only year 4. It's gonna hurt for him for sure. But Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, that whole team, year 4, and they're in the championship 4. We saw Trackhouse make the championship 4 in year 2. This is a great thing for NASCAR to have new teams able to come in and immediately have an impact on the sport. Remember, Bubba Wallace won a race in year 1. Both cars won races in year 2. Both cars were in the playoffs in year 3. And then here we are in year 4. Tyler Reddick's in the championship 4. 23-11's building something special. They've shown it. They are committed. They're also currently in a lawsuit with NASCAR. Would have been a really funny trophy presentation, but we move on. But anyways, they had a spectacular run. They were the weakest of the 4 today, unfortunately. They just did not have enough for Byron, and they were nowhere near the Penske cars. Top 10 is still a good result. I think he's going to end up with the second most top 10s on the season. So regardless of how this year ended, 4th in the standings, great year for them. They won the regular season championship. They won 3 races. They made the championship 4 in thrilling fashion. There's nothing to complain about for Tyler Reddick and that team this year. Nothing to complain about, but they came up short. As for the rest of these results, so usually this is when we go through our lasts, like if it's someone's last race, Martin Truex Jr., for example, or a team, Stewart-Haas Racing, or a driver with a team, Michael McDowell with Front Row. We'll spend a few minutes on it, or we'll spend a couple minutes. But since we now do the Monday after, which is tomorrow night, we will be live the Monday after. I'm going to do it then just because it's so time-consuming when we go through all of them. But there will be a couple that I will mention here, but I'll go into more depth tomorrow. So look forward to that. Joey Logano wins at Phoenix. It's now his 4th Phoenix win, I believe. Even year Logano, man. Do not defy him. I think I had him in my preseason championship 4. That'll be next Sunday for us to review, by the way. But Joey Logano, once again, today in this race specifically, take the championship talk out, take the playoff format out. What a drive by Joey Logano today. And once you add those elements of the playoffs and stuff with all the pressure and stuff, to lead 107 laps, I think before today, Logano had only led 307 laps on the entire season, and he led 107 today. They won a stage. They were in the top 3, really, all day long. The speed they brought was incredible. They had a great team performance today, other than that one pit stop on the first pit stop of the day. They did an incredible job. Paul Wolfe is a 3-time champion. He's won 2 with Logano, 1 with Keselowski. Paul Wolfe's a Hall of Famer, honestly. But this team, once again, proves they know how to get it done in this format. They've done it every even-numbered year. They have made the championship 4. 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. 6 times, 3 championships. They're batting 50% in the championship 4. It's incredible. It really is a truly remarkable run, regardless of what you think. On the flip side, we just saw a guy who entered this race 14th in the points win the championship. Yeah. This isn't the NFL. This is not the NBA. I absolutely hate when people compare it to that Super Bowl where the 18-0 Giants lost to the 8-8, 9-7 Giants. Sorry, 18-0 Patriots. You get my point. Why? Because the San Diego Chargers that year didn't come on the field and impact the championship, the Super Bowl. The San Diego Chargers impacted the the championship here. Now, not the literal San Diego Chargers. I know they're now the LA Chargers, but if Austin Cindric does not spin out at Nashville, Joey Logano misses the playoffs. If Joey Logano does not win at Atlanta, now that was a real win, so we'll give it to him. Okay, Logano's in the round of 12. If Alex Bowman's car is 18 pounds heavier, Joey Logano's out in the round of 8 or round of 12. If Joey Logano does not win a fuel mileage race at Las Vegas, he's not in the Final Four. They had to have a lot of things go their way. Once again, they were 15th in the regular season standings, eventually moved their way up to 14th. But in the final season standings, Joey Logano had 13 top 10s all year long. William Byron had 13 top 5s. Christopher Bell had 15 top 5s. Kyle Larson had 15 top 5s. Denny Hamlin had 12 top 5s. Reddick had 12 top 5s. Blaney had 12 top 5s. It's just an observation. It's truly just an observation. Ryan Blaney finishes second. Once again, he was my championship pick heading into this weekend, and he about proved me right. I mean, you about proved a lot of people right, don't get me wrong. But he is so good at this racetrack, and I don't know why, but he just can't win here. He now has, I think, 7 straight top 5s at Phoenix, but he just can't win. He can lead laps, he can win stages, but he can't. I don't know what it is. He won the championship here last year, but remember, he finished second to Chastain. But regardless, a great season for him. Team Penske still wins the title. It's Team Penske's first ever 1-2 in the standings. Great year for Blaney. He won a few races, finished second in the points, 12 top 5s on the year. Great year for him, honestly. Byron finishes third, heartbreak at Phoenix again. They had a great year too. Now the controversy, of course, with the race manipulation, should he have been here? Ultimately, it didn't play out to where, he wasn't a factor in a sense, and finishes third. Still a great year for him. They won a few races, but he's on quite the winless streak. Kyle Larson fourth, Christopher Bell fifth. Christopher Bell had 143 laps in this race, and I was fully prepared when Christopher Bell won this race to come on here and just talk about how awkward this post-race was going to be. Ultimately, it didn't work out for him. A caution kind of hurt their day, but great day for him. Top 5 finish, 143 laps led. I'm sure they learned a lot for next year if they make the championship 4. Tyler Reddick 6th. Once again, what a year for Reddick. 3 wins on the season. His first championship 4. 23XI's championship 4. Michael Jordan's first championship 4. I mean, just a lot of cool things here. 23XI has elevated NASCAR, in my opinion. Just to see Michael freaking Jordan in the sport is still incredible to say out loud. That's another great thing about 2024. I'm never going to stop talking about this. I stood next to Michael Jordan this year. I'll never shut up about it. Anyways, regardless, great year for him. 7th place, Bubba Wallace, double top 10 for 23XI. Chase Elliott, 8th. Chris Buescher, 9th, solid top 10. Daniel Suarez, out of nowhere. Like top 10 speed all day long. This was not random. Top 10 all day long. Started in the 30s and just marched his way up through the field. Don't know what was in that car today, but I did not have Daniel Suarez beating Ross Chastain today. Denny Hamlin, 11th, sad team owner. 12th, Noah Gragson. In Stewart-Haas Racing's last race, their highest finisher is Noah Gragson in the 10 car. Chase Briscoe, that Southern 500 win, that was Stewart-Haas Racing's last Cup Series win. Their last win as an organization was last night with Riley Herbst. Stewart-Haas Racing made a big impact on NASCAR. Like I just said with 23XI, they moved the mark. They won championships. Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart. They won so many races. They won Daytona 500s, Brickyard 400s. I think they won Coke 600s, Southern 500s. You name it, they won it. The team will no longer exist. Haas factory team will be there, but it's going to be a different organization, different ownership group, different team. So thank you to Stewart-Haas Racing. Once again, we'll do a more in-depth thank you tomorrow night. Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Harrison Burton in his last race for the Wood brothers. Of course, he got them their 100th win. That will always be remembered. Martin Truex Jr. led 9 laps early in this race, got the pole in his last 2 races as a full-time driver. a first ballot Hall of Famer. He won a championship, won over 30 races, won a couple of Busch Series championships, I believe. Martin Truex Jr. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great guy. He's been a great impact on NASCAR. Once again, we'll do a more in-depth thank you, I guess, tomorrow night. But Martin Truex Jr., a great career, finishes 17th in his last race as a full-time driver. Remember, he is expected to be back at Daytona next year. Hocevar, Chastain, Todd Gilliland, Kyle Busch, the win streak is over. Kyle Busch goes winless for the first time in 20 years. Eric Jones, Daniel Hemrick, Josh Berry, Derek Kraus, Jimmy Johnson, 26th. By the way, beautiful paint scheme today. Austin Dillon, Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe, John Hunter Nemechek, Michael McDowell, his last race with Front Row Motorsports. Corey LaJoie, which could be his last race with Rick Ware, but we don't know yet. Stenhouse, Gralla, J.J. Ely, Chad Fincham, Ryan Preece, Jeb Burton. Zane Smith crashes in his last race with Spire, and Ty Gibbs wrecked on lap 2. It's very bizarre. I don't know if he just clipped the apron wrong or something broke, but it was weird. Like lap 1.1, he was wrecked. But yes, this is how it ends. So this is how it ends. The NASCAR season, such a beautiful season, great racing at Kansas, at Homestead. Even last week's race at Martinsville was pretty darn good before the race manipulation. But we had some fantastic racing this season. We had some fantastic moments, but the way it ended. The race manipulation at Martinsville by Toyota and Chevrolet. For a guy who was 14th in the standings to win the championship, just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I know some of you will have differing opinions, I'm sure. Congratulations, regardless, to Joey Logano, Team Penske, the number 22 team. Once again, they know how to do it in this playoff format. He said after the race, I love the playoffs. So, yeah, he's pretty good at this playoff thing. But call me a hater, call me whatever, but it's just how I feel about it. So we'll see you for the Monday after tomorrow. Hopefully it's fun. It will probably run long because we got to do our goodbyes. But goodbyes to, as I mentioned earlier. But then I will talk to you guys a little bit about the off season and what to expect on the channel.